It takes work because, again, when you're taught that expressing your feelings makes you look like a bitch, you tend to withhold how you feel. You suppress that shit. The only thing about suppressing is that you become a volcano. And when you become a volcano, you explode. What are things a man should have in him when he is in a relationship? Um, so I'll just go off of what I didn't have when I was in a relationship that I felt like could be beneficial to any man now. Going into a relationship, well, I really would just with any woman, but preferably a feminine one. But yeah, starting off, I believe in my mind that a man should definitely have patience. Patience. In a sense of being patient with yourself, you should have forgiveness with oneself. You need to forgive yourself for a lot of the things that you feel like you've done so that you're not going in treating women like you owe them something based off of shit you've done before. Because you don't owe anybody anything. You know what I mean? People fuck up. And that's just what it is. Women fuck up, men fuck up, but no one owes anybody anything. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? Like you just don't owe anybody nothing when you get into a relationship. That's not what unconditional love should be. And granted, we should strive for that. We definitely should strive for that to have unconditional love. For simple, pretty much like how we love our children. No matter what they do, within reason, we love them unconditionally. They're always going to be our kids, but it's a struggle when you know what I'm saying, like you're in a relationship with somebody. You tend to not have that very same level of grace that you would have. I mean, don't get me wrong, you get frustrated, you'll get upset, you'll be disappointed and things like that. But as for the level of forgiveness, I mean, it's going to take that because you're talking about somebody who's been living a life without you, learning to live a life with you, going, you know what I'm saying, 20, however long years, however, you know, so somebody, like I say, you've gone 36 years, I was speaking my own stance with it, 36 years without this person. Now you have to learn to live like with them, learn how to love them, and you know what I'm saying, and seeing what stuff everybody needs to work on, because everybody has to work on something. No one is without improvement, and you're always going to have improvement. You have to stay a student. So when I said patience, financial literacy, frame. Probably, you know what? Frame is number one. As a man going into a relationship, I feel like frame is very important. If you do not have frame, you're done. That's it, period. She depending on how she was raised and the man she saw, she may or may not respect you after you lose your frame. You know what I'm saying? And like if she has to hold it, there's this level of, again, like there's certain things a woman that has respect for you says that a woman that doesn't have respect for you says. And I guess I know for sure I've seen both. I've seen when women have talked to me when they don't have respect for me, and when they do have respect, and it's light year difference. You know what I'm saying? So before going into a relationship, a man must have frame. He must have financial literacy. He must have patience. He must be equipped to protect, for sure, which I would include all in frame and all that stuff, and be mature, for one. And that goes into the patience aspect, because you're talking about, again, being with someone who is an emotional creature. And there's no room for two bitches in a relationship. It's not. So if I'm being emotional and she's being emotional, which one is more fitting? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can call it double standard. Yeah, it's a double standard. But for a man to allow himself to react emotionally with a woman, I believe she then starts to lose respect for that man, and in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna say in all ways, but just in different ways. Like, it is very imperative for us as men to be able to withstand that storm. We have to be the calm of the storm when we are in, and really in any relationship that you have. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like with everybody, you should have the emotional intelligence. That's one thing you should have coming into a relationship, is emotional intelligence. You need to be able to diagnose how you feel, these feelings that come up, these emotions, how to process them, where to go with them, and to recognize that nothing anyone does is ever about you. And that's one of the hardest things, because when people do some foul shit and you want to respond, but you recognize it's from their own pain and what they're dealing with inside. Going into, like I said, going into a relationship, make sure you're ready. For that matter, don't do anything out of obligation. That's one thing a man has to have. He has to be honest with himself. He has to be authentic with himself. He has to have courage too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some people that, yeah, like I said, I've lived it, where I've avoided being in a relationship for fear of failure, for fear of success, for that matter, just fear, period. So, but I mean, like reading and observing and studying some of the what I feel is some of the healthier relationships that I've seen or read about. Patience is one thing, and forgiveness is another part of that. You got to have forgiveness, and being able to be somebody that is I would say, like, reliable in the sense of what you say. And when you say you're going to do something and coming through on that, it's very important, because you want that sense of trust. I mean, coming in, that's what a man has to have. A man has to show that he can be trusted. He can, like I said, communication is one thing. Yeah, and that's something we all can work on, especially when you think about how men are taught to not express themselves. So communication issues are almost inevitable, and learning to communicate in a masculine sense, it takes work, because again, when you're taught that expressing your feelings makes you look like a bitch, you tend to withhold how you feel. You suppress that shit. The only thing about suppressing is that you become a volcano, and when you become a volcano, you explode, and that individual you're dealing with is like, what the fuck just happened, right? Because they're used to being the only volcano. And remember, there's no room for two volcanoes in a relationship. That makes it very, very toxic. But I mean, it doesn't mean that the other person's feelings shouldn't matter. It's just about how you process them, how you handle them. So, like I say, a man coming into a relationship, there's many things that looking back at things and stuff I've learned going forward that would definitely be beneficial for I say like a relationship, let's say marriage or whatever. So you're looking at patience, you're looking at trust, you're looking at communication, you're looking at what else? Yeah, there's so many things that can be, like I said, mentioned with that, but I believe that's just what I have off the dome right now. And wanting to, like I said, leadership, yes, leadership too. A man must come into the idea with leadership, and he must choose a mate that is willing to allow him to lead. And there's some that just won't, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Everybody should get what they want. in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like if that's what you want, if you as a woman you want to be the leader, then by all means I believe you should go out and seek a man that will allow you to lead the relationship. If you are a man seeking a woman that will allow you to lead, then by all means you go out and you do that. I mean, more so, allow that woman to come to you, really, because you should be working on your purpose. You should be working on exactly your purpose. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're working on your purpose, the woman that will complement your life, she will show. You know what I'm saying? You will attract that. You will attract a woman that's willing to complement your life, and you'll know that because she will make your life easier. You know what I'm saying? Because the woman that is not for you, she comes as, she's come to tear shit down. She's coming to destroy everything you've been built, i.e. like a Will Jada, you know what I'm saying? Situations like that. I mean, I don't want to pick on, them, but that's pretty much the situation. You think about somebody who's built a career on just excellence, only to get into something with someone, you know what I mean, where on the outside looking in, you know what I mean, we don't know what's really going on. I mean, it's all entertainment, right? But just for like a fictitious example, using Will and Jada, that type of relationship is not the one you want, where it seems like that individual likes to make it about them. And you have to understand it's just about complimenting, like she has to compliment your life, man. And if indeed she does not compliment your life, then she will weed herself out, honestly. If you're paying attention, if you are a high value man that is on your shit, working, you know what I mean, to better yourself every day, you'll notice what's for you and what isn't for you. And that's not just with relationships, like in intimacy, like friends and shit like that. If you have people around you that are not encouraging you to be better, not tearing you, I mean, you know what I'm saying, like they're tearing you down, because you have some people that just don't say anything, but that doesn't, you know what I'm saying, I mean, they're like a bad for you, they're just neutral. But then you have those that tear you down, or you have those that build you up. You have to ask yourself, are these the type of people that are going to, the type of people around me is going to help me get to where I'm trying to go with my life? And only you know that, because only you know what you want to do with your life. But like I said, speaking to men, and as I'm still learning every day, because I don't have this shit figured all out, and I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to work on being a better me than I was yesterday. My competition is me. I'm not focused on anybody else. And I love that. When I found that out, because again, there was a lot of comparison. That's another thing a man should not come into a relationship with, is comparing yourself to another man. That's actually a very beta trait to do. So what you do is just focus on you. You focus on your purpose. You figure out exactly what moves you, what drives you, what gives you passion, and you put effort into that. So those are some things that I feel like a man should have before getting into a relationship. What issue do most people think is black and white, but you think there's a lot of nuance to? If I had to pick anything, it's probably the religious aspect, like God. You know what I'm saying? Like people's interpretation of what God is. Like you either look at God as this loving individual, or you see God as this tyrant that just punishes you and for being bad and all this other shit, right? But I was having a conversation with one of my friends this past weekend. We were talking about like just the Bible and the aspect of good and bad and what is deemed to be bad or what's deemed to be good. It's all perspective. Depending on what my religion has based as laws will determine whether I'm a bad person or a good person. Like the concept in some of those religions where you wear, if you wear jeans, then you're, I don't know, a sinful person or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? So you wear skirts and stuff, you know what I mean? Or religions where you're, I don't know, you're not allowed to eat cattle or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you think about all the beef that's eaten in America. I mean, it's just sin walking around, Sin City, damn Vegas, you know, it's everywhere, especially Texas. And, you know what I'm saying, like the South where, you know, you can get a good steak and all of that. But I just feel like there's more to it. It shouldn't be just like the aspect. I mean, you got people walking around being shamed, really, off of religion. And they're not even doing much, if anything. Like I said, I don't really know the Bible in and out. I'm not going to pretend to. But I look at the concept of, you know, this thing with same-sex marriage. It don't bother me none. Like, it ain't my place to judge nobody on what the fuck are you attracted to or what you do. I have questions that when things don't make sense, like in the sense of like with the transgender stuff, you know, but I mean, that's not to offend. That's not, I mean, I don't get to control what offends another person, but I'm not asking to offend. I'm asking to be educated. You feel me? So it's just aspects of this shit that don't, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense to me, especially like when it comes to like that sports stuff. But, you know, just getting back to how again, like I say, people's interpretation of what God is, who God is it a he, is it a she? You know what I mean? Like, I think that defeats the purpose of the point. Yeah, I feel that's more ego-based when we get into conversations like, no, God is a he, God is a she. Bitch, did you get the message? That's the question. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you learning from this shit? And if you don't believe in God, that's all right too. But don't shit on people that do. You know what I mean? Like, that's what gets them going great, man. And no different than you watching fucking soap operas and you get all intense into that shit thinking they're real people, or you watch a TV series and like, you know, Snowfall or fucking Power or what else, BMF, Winning Time. All these are great fucking shows, by the way. But like, you get into the character and you be like, you know what I'm saying, like, if a person, if that's something that brings them peace, man, let it be. You know what I mean? So just don't take it personal when an individual talks about what brings them peace. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, don't shit on other religions. Like, if you are into one religion, well, again, your belief that your God is true and that other one isn't, that's some ego shit, man. It ain't got nothing to do with what the Bible is supposed to bring. It's supposed to teach us how to be peaceful. It's supposed to teach us, you know what I'm saying, unconditional love for one another, like forgiveness and all that shit. But a lot of times we get caught up in the ego-based topics of these conversations on religion. And I don't believe that that's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? We have to see ourselves as just humans that are trying to be better than they were yesterday. That's it. Not judging others, you know what I'm saying? Like, for doing something, quick to talk about somebody, like, you know what I'm saying? It's so quick. It's easier to look out the window than to look in the fucking mirror. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have any room to judge anybody. None. Glass houses all around. Not one person living in this on this planet is you know what I'm saying, is not able to live in a glass house. I don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying? You may not judge people, but you may lust for something, and whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, who decides really what is good and bad? It's just really all like perspective. So once we identify something as bad, then, you know what I'm saying, we treat people accordingly. But I think it's better I believe it's better to just ask yourself, is it beneficial for you? And only you know it's beneficial for you. You don't live for anybody else, but we've been taught by society to live for everybody else. A lot of us are living lives that ain't got shit to do with us. Shit that we don't even want to do. for the simple fact of fitting in. You know what I'm saying? Conforming instead of being our own person. You know what I'm saying? You hang out with people just because of that. You know what I'm saying? Like to be included. But to have the courage to live your life the way that you want to, it takes tremendous amount of courage. That's something that a lot of people don't get credit for, and truthfully don't really need credit for, but just for themselves, they should, we all should strive to live the life that we want. I mean, that's the whole purpose, you know what I'm saying? Is to live, and a lot of us aren't living, we're existing. Those are just a few of my thoughts on that, and just how, but that's what I mean, just the interpretation of God goes so many places, and it's not just a black or white thing, but looking at, I'll say religion or people that are into spirituality, you know what I'm saying? If you learn that a person doesn't believe in God, then you treat them a certain way. How are you going to save lives if everybody you talk to is saved? You know, and another thing, let's not spoon feed and force feed people with our word. God is not insecure. God knows who he is. He can speak to us however he needs to speak to us whenever he needs to, if indeed you believe in that, or if it's just the universe sending you messages, you know what I'm saying, and through different things, through different people. You get them all the time if you're paying attention. Once your brain is cognizant of the powers of the universe, you'd be surprised what type of messages that you get from all around, the people you meet, you know what I'm saying, everything. And it's a blessing. It's truly a blessing. And the only thing you can do is just focus on you. The only way we better ourselves on this earth is by focusing on us and the things that we need to do to better ourselves. We were taught a lot of shit growing up that was toxic for us by people who didn't know them damn self. So forgive them, and then before you forgive them, you gotta forgive yourself, you know what I mean? So that we can do better. And let's just stop with the, you know what I'm saying, pointing fingers about God and what we believe, you know what I'm saying? This church believes this is the way. And just because you do something differently than me, your way is better. That's ego. You know what I mean? The objective is just to find peace and unconditional love. And you got to seek that within. I'm not telling you that you're going to, people are going to love you unconditionally, but you can start with yourself and love you unconditionally so that you don't be stuck in shame, you don't be stuck in pain, you don't be stuck in feeling so bad about your life. The world is so much better. Honestly, there's so much information going around. People forget more knowledge than they see. You know what I'm saying? Or come across. So we tend to beat ourselves up about shit, and people are eventually gonna just forget about that. The people that are in peace ain't thinking about what was done to them. The people in pain are, because it makes them feel better. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a toxic cycle. But we have to get ourselves together and recognize how what it is to live this virtuous life and practice unconditional love. And that's why I feel that God, religion, it's not a black and white thing. It's a nuance, and it's just so much that goes into it. It's more than just going to church. You know what I'm saying? Beyonce's character said in Fighting Temptations, going to church don't make you any more of a Christian, and standing in the garage makes you a Cadillac. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, there's effort that must take place. So that's my stance on religion, God, and something that I believe is considered black and white that's actually a nuance. Would you rather be ignorant and happy, or be knowledgeable and never fully content? Damn, that's a very complex question. More so, my answer is complex, rather. There are times where I feel like if I didn't know this shit, my life would be so much better. There are times where I wish that I didn't know a lot of things that I know now, and but the knowledge I've obtained in the recent years of my life has really made me blossom into a better, what I feel like a more healthier human here on this earth. And so yeah, there's parts of my life where I look back in childhood where I didn't know any better about shit, and yeah, I felt happy. And then to be knowledgeable about things now and seeing that, you know, the way that men were raised to be in this life, like pretty much the nice guy narrative, and then to see how the nice guy gets treated by everyone, not even just women in relationships, but just at work, and, you know what I'm saying, amongst your family, all those things, and like not being taught to have boundaries, not being taught to speak up, speak out, you know what I'm saying, stand up for yourself, having an opinion, if you will, and not being taught to, like I said, not being taught to fight back. Like the knowledge now would have, you know, is so much better, you know, be in a different place if I were younger, but you change one thing, you change everything, you know, like it's a butterfly effect. So, I mean, ultimately knowledgeable and never fully content, because that means I'm constantly working, you know, and I love that. That's the thing about me. I don't take a day off. I don't take a day off when it comes to learning. I'm learning, and truthfully, just learning to put yourself first and work on you and how that impacts everybody else around you. And that's how we take care of each other. I take care of my relationships with the people that I value in my life by working on me. And that indeed helps them heal, helps me heal, helps remove suffering when we have conversations. That is what I believe our purpose is, at least my purpose is. And that's why I push myself to learn. And for a while I was doing it from an ego standpoint, like just having to be the most knowledgeable versus just obtaining knowledge just to have it, you know, daily, just to better yourself than what you were yesterday. You know, it's almost like a race in a sense. Like once I get this, then I'll be content. No, I'm not gonna ever be content. I'm gonna constantly learn something new. But you can sit in the present moment. You don't always have to be in the future or stay, you know, living in the past, because that's where the pain comes from. The pain is in the past, and then like the anxiety is in the future. So it's learning to live in the present, and then also bettering yourself, and like things that you didn't know for sure, like before, that were toxic, not just to you, but you know what I'm saying, like the people around you. And if you don't know, if you know what I'm saying, like you have to forgive yourself for what you didn't know. So I mean, you constantly have to put that effort into being a better person. At least I do. I try to. And once something is like brought to my attention within reason, because there's some people that are very manipulative that try to make you feel guilty for their own insecurities. But that's what I'm saying, the whole thing of knowledge. If you have the knowledge, you can recognize it when it comes, versus somebody that's just used to being nice all the time, and then that person that's used to getting their way with you, never hearing the word no, and then they treat you a certain way because you tell them no. No is a complete sentence, by the way. It doesn't require an explanation. That's for everybody, and that's something that mental health teaches a lot, where we get caught up, man, and like trying to please everybody, becoming a people pleaser. And people pleasing stems from not feeling good enough at one point in time, and not being taught boundaries, not being taught unconditional love. And it's hard. It's hard when you just want to do right by people, and you don't even realize that what you're doing is stemming from some shit from a long time ago, and you feel like incomplete, like you're not worthy when you're not able to do something for somebody. But you're fine just the way you are. You don't have to do shit, and you're fine. You know what I mean? Like, love, again, unconditional love is just love an individual just by them being them. That's it. Nothing more. They don't have to be the best brother. They don't have to be the best father. They don't have to be the best mother. They don't have to be the best child. They don't have to be the best aunt, uncle, whatever it is. They're just there and learning. And if you look at everybody as like 5-year-olds, wounded children, You know what I'm saying? Like when somebody fucked up with you and you saw them as a 5-year-old, you would move a little bit differently than, like you said, like, oh, they're older, they should know better. Perhaps they've been doing the same shit since they were young and they really don't know any better. It's just different perspective. Like, don't assume that these individuals know shit just because you would. You're basing that off of your knowledge, not off of the knowledge that they have and they possess. Like, we all come from different backgrounds, regardless. You know what I mean? Like, even from a class standpoint, you look at rich people and how they talk to people. They probably picked that up when they were kids and saw that was probably the way to talk to people. Or even, poor disenfranchised children that may come off a little bit rough at times. That is what they were taught as kids to survive. That was the language of that time. It's pretty much just the whole aspect of learning like a language. You feel me? So that's why I love the beauty of knowledge. And when you're cognizant of these things, you move a little bit differently. You don't respond as much. You don't get as upset, and you extend the grace, not just with them, with you. You have to extend the grace for yourself, as you know that you're doing the best that you can with the knowledge that you have. And yeah. So that's how I see it. So to answer that question, would I rather be ignorant and happy, or whatever the other shit was, because I forgot the shit now. But knowledgeable and and never fully content. I would definitely be knowledgeable and never fully content. And I believe that is where happiness sits in the middle, living in the present moment.